Here are my Provia patio doors. This winter there was an awful lot of cold coming in to the room through these doors. Much more than anything I ever experienced with my 20-year-old Hurd doors that were wood-clad and warped and needed to be replaced, but the intent was to have a product that was an upgrade, not going the other direction. The glass was nice and warm, but the door frames were very cold here and here. And at first I thought maybe we didn't have any insulation, because when you open the door and look at where the latch is, you can go all the way in to where the edge of the glass is, so we obviously have a cavity there. And this temperature strip is measuring the cavity temperature that we know is not insulated. And when you come up here to where supposedly we have insulation, there was really no temperature difference. We may have an air infiltration problem more than an insulation problem, because when you start looking at places for air to come through, this winter this lap seam here had air coming through. I wound up taping this. I also wound up taping the door. You know, once you tape the door up for the winter, you couldn't use it for several months, but it was like you almost had to. The cold coming through was ridiculous. There's, at the top up here, there's a gap, and that gap goes all the way in, and in the back of that gap you can see black. And I think the black you're looking at is this black sponge material up here. It almost seems like this area here should have been foamed, and then maybe a molding piece put there. You can also look down on the top of this stationary part, and it looks very similar to what you can see on the operating door here when you go up on top and look down. There's quite a cavity here that's at least 3/4 of an inch deep before you hit anything, and that looks like kitchen sponge material that you hit, and the joint here isn't too good. This whole piece looks like it comes off. Probably wouldn't come off without being damaged and destroyed, but it'd be interesting to see what's really inside that door by removing that, or maybe a couple little holes could be drilled and it could be inspected through there. The other places where air can get in is there's a lot of joints and lap things that, and here's like kind of a poorly made corner with a hole there. And also, when you look behind the weather stripping, there's a big hole, and you look in there, it looks like this frame is all hollow. The weather stripping seals the operating door fine, but I don't think it was meant to seal the stationary frame. So there's a lot of places where air can get into the hollow cavity of these frames and things, and then it finds its way inside. The amount of air leakage, or the amount of cold coming in, is totally unacceptable. Will not be accepted or tolerated. It may be infiltration. It may be an infiltration problem more than an insulation problem. The door was adjusted in this weather seal. This weather stripping works pretty good for the door. If you get winds that are like 10 miles an hour or less, which might be typical of any place, there's no leakage around the door at all. There is leakage through the frame in those other areas that I'm talking that I talked about earlier, but the door weather stripping, I think, is acceptable and as good as reasonably you can reasonably expect. But these other areas, I don't know whether they can be fixed or what. I'm not a window or door designer, fabricator, installer, or repair person. It seems like there should be molding put here. A lot of places could be foamed. You could even do some holes and foam in through the holes and then cap the hole. I mean, like here's a little sticky cap covering a screw hole, which is kind of a rinky-dink way of doing it. You know, probably adhesive will probably dry out in 2 years and the thing will fall off. But anyway, so that's what I found, but I really don't know the right places to look on this. Like I said, you know, here's well, I'm not a door designer or fabricator, so, but I am a homeowner, and I know there's an awful lot of cold that came through, and something is wrong. Maybe we need somebody who knows doors inside and out to really pinpoint the cause of the problem here. The glass part is fabulous, and the weather stripping that seals the operating door now is good. But the other issues almost like negate the whole situation because of the amount of infiltration occurring.